Hello and welcome to some more, Dyson Sphere Program. Just a little nervous of I was just getting to the point where I was starting to relax a bit with the bit rates and all that sort of stuff, and then yesterday's Factorio stream, the game, well, my internet just died at one point and just cut it off. And then getting it restarted seemed to be quite a palaver. But yeah, everything seems to be okay. We seem to be getting mics all connected for a change. Right, so let's fire up the game. Now, I'm actually going to load up. So they've added achievements, but associated with milestones. I don't know whether there seemed to be an implication that it wouldn't actually pop the achievements on this version, but basically now I've got this milestone tracker, and this is sort of showing the things you've done, as it were. So you've hit that particular milestone. So the ones that have just popped by the looks of things are this one, milestone electromagnetic matrix. You produced your first electromagnetic matrix. It's one of the 5 source codes that maintain the operation of the center brain and is a fusion of electricity and magnetism, perfectly interpreting Maxwell's equations. Master energy matrix. You produced your first energy matrix. It's one of the 5. Oh, is that not the same thing? Oh, one's energy and one's electromagnetism. Your industrial empire will continue to grow stronger under your watchful eye. Liquid encapsulation. You used a storage tank to store crude oil for the first time. What else we got? This one over here. Activated a thermal power station for the first time. Cool. So what's this one that's not been... You built your first wind turbine. I built millions of wind turbines, so it's obviously a little bit unclear. So if I build that, is that going to pop? So it says click to close. Where are they? Are they in the stats pad or something? Oh, there we go. So they're under a new tab, milestones. So if I build a wind turbine, will that cause that to... There we go. So that's that one. You use the blueprint for base constructions. Oh. High efficiency logistics is finished. What are all these then? So, planned your first conveyor belt and it entered the era of automated production. So some of these are just not triggering because they've been introduced, mid-game. So clearly that one should have popped already. What's this? Oh, power storage. So if we were to pop that one down, so I don't know whether this is actually research result. Cool. So if we do that, get that automation one. What else we got here? Later foundation, we can do that. Ray receivers later. Solar panel. I don't think I've got any of them, but solar cell. Processors. Chemical plants. Structure matrix. So these are all just the things to build and stuff. First light. So some of these are just going to pop off, because I've already, done them. Kimberlite oil, fire ice. Alright, so there's the ones. But I don't know... It does not pop in Steam achievements, so I don't know if that's just not a thing. So I wonder if I do that. And then return to land, maybe? Oh, there you go. So that's that one. I can't remember what I was doing. I was making... I just made red cubes, hadn't I? Yeah, we just made red cubes. Now, where are we doing research? Oh, I'd stacked up a load of researches. And in particular, buffs. Lots of lovely buffs. And have I got all the ones that might... Ooh, that would be good. Because we're going to have to do titanium in the not too distant future, so it'd be good to have that one fairly soon. Because our next matrix... Oh, we haven't even got the next matrix. Okay, let's go and while it's chunking away on some buffs for us. It's capped at 1. Capped at 1. Let's go and do a bit of a restock. So I think it's over here. What's that over there? That's the iron. I didn't. What we could do again while we're waiting is we could tie some more of these up because we've only got this one thing. Oh, in fact, there's a bit of a belt action there. What have I got in terms of fuel and stuff? Not a lot. So we should go and get some more fuel. Really? Yeah, one of the buffs I'm doing, I think, is the height for the things, so we can, because I've got some more labs in. Make it core level 2, that increases the max energy, which is good. What I might just do is go and find, because we're about to drop out the air. So if I stick one of them down just quickly, that'll recharge me a bit quicker. So, yes, where is everything? You say, might as well do a little bit of a restock. It's not that far away, I don't think. And then we'll add in those extra belts for the extra oil. Where am I here? Okay. But now it will not charge up to a much higher level. Basically, that's what that's doing, essentially. Oh, that's what that buff does. Because you need more power. Because when we're going to fly over there, and the flight is quite energy heavy. Where's me Morley thing? Because that's not it. Oh, here we go. It's over here. Okay. So where am I? I'm over that. So it's over in that direction, basically. So let's... I might as well just leave that there, to be honest with you. So let's fly over this away. Okay, so what we got here? We got a little bit of silicon, which we don't really need. We got prisms, which we don't really need. We've got glass, which we don't really need. We've got bricks, which we don't really need. Stone. No, don't really need that. Solar panel. I could plop down a solar panel, couldn't I? Just do that. That achievement, I guess. Boop. Alright. Gears. It looks like I'm probably stocked up on everything. Ah, no. Here we go. We need some circuits. Steel we got plenty of. Iron plate we got plenty of. Got some of them. The old maggots. Got some of them. Copper. Yeah, got some of that. Don't need that. I guess I must have restocked before the end of the last stream. Isn't really planned today as such. I mean, there is, but it's the generic plan of we need to advance the research to the degree that we can get off planet and go and set up a bit of titanium production on another planet. Let's grab some of them. To do that, we'll probably take a whole load of solar panels and the old... I pointed at the wind turbines and said solar panels. Solar panels and wind turbines. As well as miners and stuff. Because we can leave stuff on the planet. You know, we can just fill our inventory and... Oh, I didn't even look at what that one was. But yeah, we can take a load of belts and, you know, inserters and all that sort of stuff. Any of them? No. And these, you know... Because basically we want to set up a production facility. You know, we'll take some power stuff with us. We don't really... Because we'll sacrifice the, you know, the raw stuff and take the processed stuff, essentially. Yeah, it looks like I filled up before shortly before the end of the last stream. Because I haven't been in... In fact, we probably haven't got any of them. Oh, no, we have. We haven't even got them. Fluid things? Yeah, well, actually. Just on principle. Is there anything we can make that we want to put on our wall? New. Because we can do processors. But they require silicon, don't they? They require them things, microcrystalline, which is silicon. The graphite stuff needs the chemical labs. So we could do something along those lines. But, I mean, we need to sort of make the higher level, you know, inserters and stuff, but meh. Royal refineries we could set up, but it's quite a complicated chain. You know, involving stuff I don't actually have here. I don't. Oh no, bricks. Have I got everything for that? Because these two are quite useful to set up because you do end up making a load of them. I don't think steel. I haven't got steel, have I, over here? Because that's iron. But then, don't we make steel from iron? So we could smelt steel directly. Oh, we could make the large storage. Yeah, okay. So let's make a few of them then. Oil extractors is not worth it because we'll have like, there'll be, you know, like 10 on the planet sort of thing. But what we can do, because what we've got is glass, oops, iron and copper. And then circuits, yeah, and stone. Okay, so we can just smelt a little bit of iron into steel directly and feed that into... It's quite slow, I seem to recall, so better off just doing one, you know, instead of sharing it, I think. So if we grab... I can't remember which. Is it that to remove the things? There we go. So it's probably going to be too close, isn't it? But what we can do is switch that to them boys. Because they're more convenient to have on the planet because they're much bigger storage units, basically. I say we're not doing massively, massive volumes sort of thing. It's not what we're going for, really. So it'll chug away a little bit, as we go. I mean, I have got some of them, so I could maybe do bigger ones, maybe. Nah, you see, it doesn't. No, it makes them so slow. I don't know that. Isn't there a? Is it shift to downgrade? What's the downgrade? Is that one? Isn't it? Yeah, that'll do. And then I guess we could have basically the exact same arrangement, couldn't we? So, if we do, okay. Yeah. I love the shift click thing, but it's like, oh no, of course it's, okay. No. Alright, yeah, it's pulling over the, the appropriate things. Right, so we could make, as I say, some of those. Oh no, I couldn't because they're plasma, aren't they? But those aren't plasma, are they? No, you see, that's glass and... So we get some of those, mate, because you end up using loads of chemical plants. It's one of the bigger ones to do, and most of the things it makes require lots of ingredients and stuff, so they were particularly painful to make them. Right, so we want glass. So say it's worth setting them up now. We want what? We want that. Circuits, stone, but it's not powered, so... Oh, I didn't cap that thing, did I? Let's do a couple of them. And we want... I don't think they stack very high, then. So, it's like 10 or something. So let's set that quite high. Oh, you're moaning about power. Okay. So, let's get some more turbines in. Oops. No. Oh, of course, I keep forgetting. Do the old drag. Do the old drag. Oh, hello, Angry Texan. Why don't I just click on your screen trying to close the inventory menu to get it off my screen? That's a bit of a hazard. Welcome to the stream. Right. You're not powered, though. Why are you not powered? Just out of range, is it? Okay. Let's pop one of those in. I assume you're playing as now, or as it just habit formed, clicking on the thing. Right. So that's chemical plants. Why are you not actually running? Because you need steel, which is only trickling in. I'm going to have to put a second... Yeah, I have to upgrade it. So upgrade that. This is just like... just watching while you're working. 26 hours on the game, yeah. It's really good, yeah. I played through... basically, when it launched, I played through... you know, to the completion. I didn't actually ever finish a Dyson Sphere, because... well, because of the I basically completed. So on the tech tree, where is it? It's up here, isn't it? So this one, I did this one, and then when it launched, it didn't have the whole copy and paste system. You know, the blueprints and all that sort of stuff, and it was requiring so much clicking. It was giving me RSI. So now that they've got that, you know, the copy and pasting, I'm playing through again, seeing it, and it's so much easier with the, you know, the shift click in particular. Really love that facility. How are we doing on research? Because this seems to be taking a while. This one. Have I done the stack upgrade? Oh, I want upgrades, don't I? Have I done the stack upgrade yet? Where is it? No. Communication. No, that's blueprints, isn't it? Where's the... Oh, no, it's down here. Okay, so we want that as well. And that one. And then I can stick more labs on top of each other. Right, so that's that one. Now, the tricky part... I mean, it's not that tricky. But I need them. I'm just wondering about, like, reversing this, basically. Because we could have this here and feed into... which one do I want? Oil refinery. Because I got everything. Well, that's a point actually. If I did that, I wouldn't actually be able to fit in the little bit of steel smelting I need as well. But we could pull it up and just move the stuff down. Yeah, let's do that. Oh! Have I not got enough room in my inventory? I haven't, have I? Oh, it's alright. I'll put them in there. Put them in a chest. Oh, I should have copied and pasted it first. That was dumb. Right. So if we take those off. So this needs to make them. But to make them, it needs prisms. That's right. So then we want oops, prisms. We then want them, and then we put them into a chest like that, and then we put them into oh, that might be a little tricky because I want to put them into into that one, but I'm also going to have to make steel and fit that in somehow. Played a lot of Factorio. I think this is a big step up from Factorio. They've done a great job. I prefer Factorio, if I'm honest. But Factorio is kind of my favorite game ever. But this, I think they've captured something unique. You know, it sort of builds on Factorio in a very good way. I think the thing they've really nailed is the look. It is incredibly pretty, this game, and it's very sort of visually consistent, and the style of it is very appealing. But in terms of the sort of mechanics and way of doing things, I slightly prefer Factorio, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think this is really good. It's just, I say, it's just to some extent, it's just how can I put this? Why Factorio over DSP? So I kind of prefer. So I don't think Factorio is perfect, and certainly I think the expansion they're supposed to be working on, if that's what everyone thinks it is, the space thing, I think that's going to elevate it, because the problem Factorio does have is the end game is just sort of, meh, you know, it's like you launch a rocket and that's it. It's like, so what sort of thing. It's sort of not very much, you know, not very interesting in a sense. It just sort of stops, you know. Whereas this, the whole build a Dyson Sphere, is a much more interesting goal, and you know, is a sort of a good end game. Other than, but I say the mistake I think they've made with that is the fact that, you know, it has this mission completed, and I don't know if you've got there or not, but once you've done that, you can do that without building a Dyson Sphere, and the whole name of the game is build a Dyson Sphere. And you don't actually technically have to do that in order to finish the game. And I think that's a bit of a mistake. I think, you know, it should be required, basically. But yeah, I say, and I think they've certainly nailed that. My sort of preference is, and it is both an advantage to Dyson Sphere and but you know, it's a personal preference thing, and this is just, it's slightly less complicated, I would say, than Factorio, and I say that's both, you know, that's a good thing for some people, but for me personally, I prefer it the slightly more, you know, complex way Factorio does things. The other thing I really like in Factorio, and it's something I know a lot of people don't like and they don't play with, is the combat side of it. Now, again, once you get into the very late game with Factorio, that can get very tedious. You know, it's not necessarily all that fun to clear biters once you're basically, you know, OP. Raise or litter, pick up litter. Can I? Oh. And I don't know if you saw the Tokyo Game Show. What should we call it? They have confirmed. There was kind of, I'm sure that I was, you know, they said there was going to be combat in this game, but they have confirmed that is coming. So, you know, when they introduce that, you know, hopefully that'll add something. But there's kind of that element to, you know, I know a lot of people don't like. Do I want to put them there? Because what I'm going to have to probably do, I think, is dogleg around because I need to put... What else do I need to put in there? I need to put those two, don't I? But this, I just need the iron. So what I'll probably do, it's a bit horrible, this, you know, a bit horrible way of doing it, I think, but don't know that I've got any choice, is stick the smelter there. Is that going to be too close if I put it right there? That'll be too close, won't it? Yeah. Okay, can't do that then. So, if I put it... Where is it? Here we go. If I put it a little bit out. That should work. And then what I'm going to do is basically, if I pick that up, I could go up and stuff. But, oh, what have I done there? Turn the belt round. But I'm just going to go round the back with the glass, basically. I'll connect that back in. Over there. Oops, wrong point. But yeah, I like the, you know, the 3D nature of this. So the, you know, the fact it's got verticality to the belts and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, it's single item per belt. So it's like, you know, simpler and stuff. And I say that is an advantage in some ways. You know, I know, you know, some people are going to prefer that. But I say the whole two, you know, both sides of the belt on Factorio just makes it that bit, you know, a bit more complicated. And like you have to do, you know, belt balancing. The other thing, as purely personal thing, is I really love buses. I don't know if you've ever seen you know, a bus in Factorio, but I really, really love them and how they look. And you can do it in this game, but it's not fun, in my opinion, doing a bus. Oh, it's a bit of another one of those things. So they also added these. Is that the... No, that's the... No decoration, that's what I want. So they added these in a recent update. They've also added achievements, but it's not popping them on the Steam thing, so I don't know if that's just because they're not in this version or what, but yeah, I like, and it's this is a perfect example. That's really pretty, really well. I mean, it's a bit random, but it's really pretty, really well laid out. You know, and they really have nailed the look of the game, I think. It's another. What's that? Sorry, it's another thing that I feel has added another level of complexity for my own DSP. So disorganized, compared to Factorio, and maybe the bus issue. Yeah, I say, and I say when I played it through the first time, I was like, research speed too slow. Ooh. It's because I've only got 3 labs on the go, but I was like, right, well, you know, it's similar to Factorio. Let's get a bus on the go. That's not making any steel, is it? Okay. Let's get a bus on the go. So I tried it, and basically it was an absolute nightmare. The amount of material that was going into making the bus compared to what I was actually kind of getting out of it was just bonkers. Right, what have you not got? You've not got circuits, have you? Oh, what am I doing there? Construction down. That there. Like that. There we go. Got there in the end. We don't need that many. So this is just, it's like this is a mall basically type idea. So it's not really a bus, as it were, but it's you know, feeding the material. But the idea is it's just going to trickle make everything. So you know, it's going to slowly make some chemical plants and stuff while I'm off doing other things. Yeah, I've seen that one. Thanks very much. In fact, are we doing the... Which one is that? That's energy circuits. Then what's next? We've then got One thing I'd quite like is to be able to rearrange these. So if I want to bump that up the priority, I'm going to have to undo everything rather than just like drag and drop them around. Because I'd quite like it to do that first. Yeah. In fact, let's cancel this one altogether. So let's do them first, and then we can stack more labs up. And then we can come back to this one. No, this one. And then, oh, I've done them the wrong way around, haven't I? Do that one. Then that one. And then we go for that, and that gives me the mecha sale. Is my inventory? No, it isn't. Okay. So let's buff inventory first. And then we can do the sale. What am I looking for? Unlocks mecha sale. There we go. That's better. So, I mean, you say you played 26 hours. Have you? How sort of far are you through the game? Are you? I say, you finished? Are you? You know, halfway through the tech tree, or what? It's one of the things I would say about the game compared to Factorio is because it's. I'm going to use the word simpler, but you know, it's a you know, specific kind of simplicity that they've gone for, but it is a bit quicker, you know, to complete, I think, which I say is a big advantage in many ways, because I know a lot of people just get bogged down in the tech in Factorio. Just started building a base on a second planet because I needed silicon and titanium. That's basically where I am. So I'm just buffing the mech, basically, to give me, you know, more power and and the sails and stuff, so that we can go to the other planet. So I mean, I hope they do continue to add more, because this is one of the newer gas giants, I think, because it's got fire ice on it. But I hope they continue to add more planets as well, because I say they've done such a good job with them. That would be good to have a good variety of. Now, is it? There it is. If I zoom out a bit. So I need to get over there, you see. But it's quite a well, it's relatively speaking, it's nowhere. But is that the one I need to go to, or is it that one? So that, yeah, okay, we can go to that one. So that's a bit closer. Why did I want to go to that one? Oh, wait, it has titanium as well. Oh, it's the fire ice I wanted to get to. But yeah, they've added a few more gas giants and stuff. Yeah, so we need to get over to there, basically, because that's got titanium and silicon on it. So I can start ferrying some of it back and doing the next science. Okay, so how we do? Oh, yes, I need to go and... what? Oh, we need to fill out all of that belt and add in the extra oil. Okay. Do I have... In fact, did I even put down a couple of extra oil extractors? So... the other thing I would really love is like a pinning system. So, you know, you've got like the North and South Pole. And somebody pointed out on a previous stream, because there's now the coloured concrete, you can sort of colour in your planet. You know, you can say, right, well, this blue stuff, that's all making, you know, cogs or something. And so you can do it that way. But that's quite expensive to do. So I'd love to just be able to put a pin in the planet and say, right, here's my labs, you know, because when you zoomed out like this, it all looks a bit similar. Can you transfer materials between planets? So, yes, you absolutely can. To start with, your only option for doing that is to do it manually. So, one of the reasons I'm buffing the mech with extra inventory capacity and that sort of thing is that when we get over to the planet with the titanium on it, oh, wrong one. When we get over to the planet with the titanium on it, we'll set up titanium smelting and silicon smelting, which becomes more useful later on. But we'll set up a bit of like local, because it's got iron and copper on it and stuff as well. So, and also a bit of coal. So we'll set up a little bit of local production. But what we'll mainly do is set up some titanium smelting, and then it's literally a case of ferrying it back by hand. So your mech, I think they patched it out, but you used to be able to do a cheat where, because you can hold everything in your inventory, so things in your inventory, if you hold the control key and left click on them, it stacks them all up, and I'm now effectively holding those. So what you used to be able to do is a little cheat where you could fill your inventory, with titanium, and then do that, and then fill your inventory with titanium again. I mean, what you would actually do is put it in a chest, pick it up from a chest, because the same applies to a chest. But basically, you used to be able to carry basically infinite amount of material in your cursor. You had to be careful because before it had the recycling system, if you let go or clicked on something, it would all just disappear. But I won't do that because I did that. I'm a bit incompetent, basically. I lost all of the material. But yeah, so basically you load up your mech with as much titanium as you can carry, ferry it back, because you need titanium, as I'm sure you know, to do the next research. So, to do these, you need yellow. I think that's right. And you need, like, the titanium crystal, I think it is it? Where is the next one? Is that information? No, it's not that one. Where is it? Is it titanium crystals you need? Where the heck is the structure matrix, isn't it? There we go. Yes, so it needs the titanium. So you have to ferry it back by hand initially, but what that enables you to get, and I say it's one of those, it's the classic thing in any building game where you have to manually do something a little bit in order to give you something that enables you to automate the thing you were just doing by hand. So basically then what you're really after, and this is kind of, so instead of a bus, what you really need to drive towards in this game is interstellar logistics, basically, because that gives you drones, a bit like logistics bots in Factorio, but more powerful, basically. So these logistics vessels transfer. So basically, you've got two levels. You've got the planetary ones. That's on a planet, so it's purely on a planet, and it moves material around. And then these are interplanetary. They're also intersolar systems. So basically, you have this one extra level up. So there's two levels: planetary and interstellar, and that literally you can go your entire stretch of your little chunk of the galaxy. To do that, you need warpers. So once you've got them, your next goal is the whole warping system. Where is that? Is it gravity matrix up here? So these guys, the space warpers, which is that one. Basically, you need these graviton lenses and warpers, and that then lets you have you can load them into the drones, and that then lets them go into solar system. And once you've got that on board, basically you've got effectively kind of infinite resources, and you then want to ferry everything back and start making your Dyson Sphere. So you don't. There is this weird quirk that to do this research, you just need 4,000 white cubes, and those white cubes are required. You see that black circly thing? That's an anti-hydrogen, I think it calls it, or anti-proton, which is made from the mass energy storage, basically. And basically you need where are they? These guys, ray receivers. But ray receivers can get power from your Dyson Swarm. You don't have to power them from the Dyson Sphere. And basically, because it's like an alternate recipe, basically. And you can basically, so you don't technically need a... It's not very efficient. In fact, it's horribly inefficient. But you can do all of this. And I say, once you've done that, technically you finish the game. You know, in practice, you're probably going to want to do, you know, some of the infinite researches. But yeah, it's then entirely up to you, basically, how far you go. Right, so... So it's relatively, it's understandable when you get there. There are some quirks to the drone system that do take a bit of working out. But once you've got them worked out, because I can't demonstrate it because I obviously haven't got any, but basically that's where blueprinting is going to come in. I think that's the key thing for blueprinting, in that once you set up, because they're quite compact, you set up like a, I mean, it's a big thing, it's like that big, but you set up the like interplanetary, whatever it's called, transfer thing, and then you have, it's like a massive storage chest, and you have the belts coming out of it. You know, you make the stuff and then you send them back into another one, and so, you know, if you need, because you need ridiculous numbers of like engines or motors and cogs and all that sort of stuff. So you just fly to a planet with a bunch of blueprints, slap it down, or slap them down, and then you've converted that planet into, you know, a cog manufacturer, basically, which is going to be awesome, but was really, really hard work when we didn't have blueprints. And as I say, that's why I never did the full sphere, because I was spending hours just clicking, because because clicking and you know, dragging these into chests and things is just so tedious. Right, we should be about to finish that. What I haven't restocked on is power. Oh dear, where are my power plants? They're over here. Are they? That's the research. Yeah, here we go. So we need to head off in this direction. Actually, this isn't the power, is it? But I think it's got some... Am I making graphite here? I am, but I'm not sticking it in a chest. That's annoying. Where's my power? That's smelting the iron. Just, I mean, just a little pin to be able to say, right, power station's here. That's oh, here it is. Here we go. Where's that relative to me? So it's that way. Yeah, I mean, say if you've played Factorio, and you know, a lot of the basic concepts will be very familiar to you. You know, smelting and building and all that sort of stuff. And the idea of, you know, leveling up your labs and not your labs. Oh,
construction technology.
I have
building facilities such as Matrix Lab, storage, and storage tank. You can try to build them vertically to make more efficiency use of space.
I think they need to redo that as well. The translation is pretty ropey. Well, not translation. The script, as it were, could do with a little bit of finesse, I think. So that's that. Now I can go and stack at least one extra lab on, if I can remember. It's like, you know, I say it is gorgeous, this game. It's really, really pretty. So that's that. So this must be... Here we go. I mean, I could just stack them by the side, but, you know, it's just easier to... I think I can do 2 more? Yeah. So that should speed it up a little bit, but I'm only producing a small amount of hydrogen, really, so... So what I need to do is add in some extra belts of oil. Oh, I did put these down. Oh, that's great. Cool. Graphics are very addictive, yeah. Why is there no actual oil coming out of that, though? Oh, there is. Sorry. Just can't see it because it's black. Black on black. About to run out of juice, so I'm going to land. Okay. Cool. So that oil should flow in here. Let's go and stand by this power thing while that chugs through. I think I got connected that up. Connected that up last time. Did I? Yeah. Yeah. So this is, I was trying to set this up because eventually I'll switch, you know, we'll do the whole, whatchamacallit, the other research and sort of feed it, you know, self back to get more hydrogen out of it, basically. Because at the moment I'm just chucking the, whatchamacallit, into, what do you call it? Refined oil, just into a thing here. But we need to be, you know, we need to send it round, basically, and process it. In fact, I might stick a couple of extra. Oh, I can only do one extra. Okay. Because that'll quickly fill up, really. But I think the next oil processing is a yellow science, isn't it? So that's polymer. Oh no, no. That's a red and blue, okay. Thought that was yellow. Yeah, it's these we need for the structure matrix. I say, so we'll have to go and get some titanium back, and you need those polymers as well, which is something I think we can use refined oil. Yeah, refined oil to make them. Now that I've made some labs. So I could set that up, I guess. Is it worth doing that? How are we doing? So we're doing that there. This is slow, isn't it? So yeah, we could go and add more of this on, basically. Yeah, because it's only trickling out some hydrogen. So I need to go and grab some of those now that I've made them. And that, of course, requires remembering where the heck my mole is. It's over that way. I could punch some trees and stuff as well, I guess, couldn't I? Because they're milestones. But so it doesn't appear to be popping the achievements, so I don't know if that's a version thing. So if we grab just... I don't need 30 of them, but let's just grab them. And I should have them as well. Yeah, let's grab them. Why have I got an inventory totally full of junk? Is there anything I don't want? Oh, it's because I picked the things up, didn't I? So I've got... Yeah, okay. Right, let's back this way then. So I'll add a bit more hydrogen processing on. I'd rather have more, you know, more processing capacity than oil is coming in at this stage. Which I think is true, because I think this belt's full. Yeah. Right. And this might be something I could try blueprinting on, but... So if that would be there, then I want the belts to be there. Is that too... Yeah, that's one too far over. So if we do that and that, is that right? Yeah, perfect. And then it's the middle one, about there. Yeah, the sort of 3D-ness of the belts is really awesome. I really like it, but it can get a bit... It's better than satisfactory, I would say that much. It's a better way they've done it than satisfactory. Why are you not doing anything? Oh, there's no power, that's why. Cheeky. Right, so on row of these, don't we? And then we need, I'm guessing, some Tesla towers. Yeah, there we go. One there. One there. But yeah, you know, I mean, really, when you think about it, it's a very simple thing they've done, because it's a relatively simple animation. But it's very effective. Yeah, and it is, I suppose from a, you know, programming point of view, it's very effective as well, because it's, you know, it looks like it's doing a lot, but it's not really. The vast majority of that is inert, and then it's got a relatively simple, you know, animation going on that looks very complicated, but, you know, it looks randomized, but it's not. It's very, very well done. Right, let's chuck that in there. Next one then. Is that? So I need, it's 3, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, yeah. That to there. To there. Oops. To there. Grab that. So I could, you know, I could shift drag them, but I'd rather, I think, do these individually. I'd say probably a better place for a blueprint, I think, maybe. But we will leave that. Right, so you're not doing anything. Oh, there you go. If I copy it, oh, if you copy it again, it adds an inserter. Think of everything. I think of everything. So chuck that in. No, that one. Chuck that in there. And then elevate this. Add it on there. Are we using up? Because it's, is it 6 items a second on a? Yeah, 6 a second. So how much are you processing? 15 a minute. It's alright, don't give me consistent units, I can do maths. 15 a minute is only... No, I can't do maths. It's 15 over 60, isn't it? So it's 1 over 4. But it's, doesn't it produce 2 per crack? Oh, it won't tell me. Okay. No, it produces only 1 hydrogen. Research speed too slow. I know, I'm sorting it out. So we need loads of these, really. Wait. Cool. Probably more than I can be bothered to actually put down, if I'm honest. Right, let's connect there. Take that up a level. And then this one is this here. Okay, there we go. Oh, no, down a level, please. There we go. Yep. And extra one of them. How much does that give me? Because that's effectively one of those does 4 of those does 1 a second, basically. So if I look at that, it requires 2 every 6 seconds. Wow. Okay, that's why I need the secondary processing thing, because it'll massively boost the amount of hydrogen we get. Okay, but if we put in, say, 8, 1, 2, 3, what's that? That's 6. And that's a good starting point. I think if I can just take that up there. Yeah, I really like that it adds on the extra inserters. I didn't know it did that. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7. One more. There. There. Okay, let's add that in there. That in there. This one up a level. There. Pop you on there. Add those in like so. Extend that. Cool. So in case I assume you've probably got the research, but basically this is the, I'll be turning this as the, because you can turn basically the processed oil into like carbon and hydrogen, and what you can do, you can have it feed itself basically. So it essentially turn all of the light oil into hydrogen and carbon. We'll then have the problem, we'll probably have too much hydrogen, but I'd rather have that problem at this stage than not, because we can turn hydrogen into fuel. Is that 6? So 2, 4, 6, 8. Is that 6? Is that 8? Perfect. Right, the other thing we could do with the light oil is start turning it into the old, what does it call them? Organic crystals, is it? Something like that. I need water for that, I think. Have I even got the recipe? I haven't done the recipe yet, have I? Okay. That's annoying. You see, this is what I'm saying. I'd like to be able to just add in a recipe, and you know, next, as it were. I can't do it without delete. I don't think I can anyway. I can't see any way of dragging, unless there's maybe there's a Control or Alt. No, that's Windows key. Right click maybe? No, 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 no. Can't rearrange them. Okay. Right. So what I'm after is this one, because we can start making the organic crystals in prep for the high strength crystals that we need. To do them, I need plastic, which is one of them. What does plastic need? Plastic needs the refined oil and carbon, which I've got over here as well. What do you need? You need the plastic, more light oil, and water. Yeah, okay. So we can set up the plastic bit of it without doing that research. In fact, let's rework the queue. So we add that in, and then back to upgrades, and we want to finish that one. Oh, that is, sorry, it's working. And then we want, what do we want? We want, that's working. I should do some of these as well, really. That one I started, didn't I? Am I fussed about the drones? Or do I want to get the mecha? We want inventory. We're probably going to end up needing more core, because it's very easy to run out of power as you're flying between planets. Well, let's do that first. So we'll get the extra stack and I'll go and put the red one on. Then we'll do the organic crystals. Okay. Right, so I guess if we just chuck it on the end here, it's probably not a great idea, but right. So I'm not actually going to connect it, but if we imagine it goes out that way with that stuff, and then we want some chemical labs. I'll just put one in for now to try and work out. In fact, if I put one there, I'll have a bit of a space. Oh, another milestone. Lovely jubbly. Build your first chemical plant, which will catapult base development into a new era with deeper understanding of the surrounding world. Chemical plants can change the structure of matter and synthesize more advanced industrial products. I think these have been... Somebody's worked on these who, well, is a native English speaker, let's put it that way. Because these read properly, if you see what I mean. Like someone who's, you know, is English, has written, or, you know, understands English as a first language, if you see, or... I'm trying not to be, because obviously it's a Chinese, you know, developed game. I'm trying not to be, you know, unkind about it. Because I mean, if you asked me to write, you know, anything in anything other than English, I would crumble like a, you know, like a leaf, basically. But so that gives me extra stack. So let's go and do that just to get on with it. But yeah, I think somebody has... I think they've probably hired somebody or someone's volunteered their services. So hopefully they'll rewrite the old center brain messages as well. Because some of them, I'll be totally honest, I don't actually understand what they mean. So now we're probably back to using more hydrogen than we're producing. Because that's chugging away quite quickly. So we get another research is too slow message. Right, so let's do this. So what we want this to do is to make plastic, don't we? And it needs both refined oil and carbon, whatever it calls them, energetic graphite. So what we can actually do is move this up one, so there, and go and grab the energetic graphite from here somewhere, because we've got some of that being made over here somewhere. Yeah, so this is the energetic graphite over here. I've set it up for the, you know, for the processing. Oh, I haven't actually set it up properly. But that would come in there when we get that other system. So it's nowhere near eating that, is it? So what we could do, we could have a cheeky feedback. Am I going to be able to go up a level there? Or are you going to be horrible? No. So I go that way instead. Come over the back. And back down again, or... No, probably... In fact, actually... if we go that way... Oh, I have to go up another level. Okay. Right. Just get rid of all of that. Start again. Right, so we're going to have to go 2 levels up. Cool. And then if we go, so it would be there. So if we go to there, go down, across. Awesome. Okay, so that's going to bring... I haven't hooked it up yet, obviously, but that's the... whatever it calls it. Graphite. No, it's not graphite, is it? Energetic thingamabobs. And that's all it needs, isn't it? Those two. Okay. So those two would be coming in, say, there. Go on. There you go. In fact, what... If that's... Isn't it 2 to 1? Yeah, it's 2 to 1, isn't it? But it takes 3 seconds. So level 1 should be okay. Actually, can I fit a turbine? I can, okay. That's useful. Oh, cancel it. Okay. That's useful. I tend to use the turbines as like free power poles if I can. Right, so this would be the plastic coming out. Like that. By the way, like that. Is that everything it needs? I think that's everything it needs. So I can copy and paste that one down. Not planning on balancing it at this stage. Just get it to do a bit, as it were. Now, what we can then do is chuck it in a chest. In fact, let's put the chest there. And send it back again. Yeah, and then this one will be the next recipe, but I haven't done that yet. Nearly done, but nearly done. It's not done. Cool. Yeah, so let's copy that. Drag that down. Do a bit of the old landfill. So this is another way of kind of avoiding the thing filling up as well, rather than, because it is chunking through it. Here we go, polymer chemistry, chemical engineering rather. So I want to change that to orgasmic crystals. So what do they need? They need plastic, obviously. They also need light oil. Okay, and water. Okay, so in fact, if we move this down then, so we can make that there. And we can do that. Put that in there. So we're going to want some more refined stuff. What ratio are you actually in, though? 2 plastic. So that's not ideal, is it? Okay. Doesn't matter. And then water down here. I like one thing I do like, and it's kind of contradicting my own point really from earlier about complexity and stuff, but I quite like that you don't have pipes and stuff. But that's more because pipes in Factorio are just an absolute nightmare. Well, the fluid mechanics is a nightmare. There we go. So plot this in here. So it auto barrels everything basically. Oh, clicking on the wrong one. And I do like that. It makes everything so much easier. Not to have to mess around with trying to work out how the heck fluids work. And we go down. Cool, so that's the oil. So let's hook some of these up as well. So, like that. I want the grey hate pipes here. I've started, I don't know if you play Satisfactory as well, but started some pipe stuff in that game, and they haven't really cracked it either, to be honest with you. Oh, let's just chuck that on there. But yeah, the fact it, auto bottles hydrogen and water and all that sort of stuff, so much easier. So much easier. Right, so this needs to both load in and load out. I guess we could chuck in a cheek. Oh, no, we can't. In there? Yeah, there we go. One of them. Then, same rough dealio. In that we can output here. Why are you in the wrong place? Like that. So we do need to limit this. Don't want millions of tons of plastic. Not getting any plastic, why not? Oh, we've not got full power coverage. Now if I drag that, no? No? You don't like dragging now? Okay. That's alright. I forgive you. Right, so we need power for the water. Is it 2? No, 1 seems to be fine. So this isn't ratioed or anything like that. It's just literally to make some kind of while I'm waiting for the buffs and research and stuff to happen. Now we can stick this in here. Extra bit of power there. Now you're not hooked up. Why are you not hooked up? You're not hooked up to plastic. Oil. Water. And output. There. So again, if I shift click that, it'll add them on. Brilliant. Awesome. Love it. Now, did I limit that chest? Ooh. Let's do that. So yeah, a little bit of mini... Oh. You've let me down. You've let me down. There. We good? You're running? You're running? Superb. Cool. We could get some more / faster inserter action there, couldn't we? You're not powered. Why are you making any difference though? No, that's fine. Because these, I seem to remember, are very slow to make. Oh, we're running out of power. Okay, is that because I've not connected this up and it's just running on... No, it looks like our total power production is probably not sufficient. 27.6, what was that? That was the mecha fuel. Yeah, okay. So I need a bit more power somewhere, which I'm a bit surprised by, I must admit. Let's see if I can see if I've just forgotten to connect everything. It's here, isn't it? That one there. No. Ah, yeah, okay. I haven't connected at the poles. So this is not the entire... So it's not connected to the Yeah, okay, that's an error. Right, let's go and quickly fix that then. So just chuck one of these at the top, connect everything together, like that. Boop. I usually put some solar. I'm not a big fan of the old belts of your friend is trying to get to play Satisfactory. It's pretty much 3D Factorio. So if you're not, it's sort of, it is a bit simplified, but it's, I don't know if you know the studio that did it. It's the well, I got a bit mixed up, but I'm pretty sure it's the Goat Simulator. The same studio, because it's that thing of companies owning companies and having the same name and different names. So it may not be the same exact developers, but I think it's the same people as Goat Simulator. It's not, and that doesn't mean it's not exactly the same humor as Goat Simulator, but it's got humor to it, if you see what I mean. And if that's not your cup of tea, then it may well annoy you. But I don't mean it's not the same joke as Goat Simulator, but it, there is humor to it in the way that there is no humor to Dyson Sphere Program or Factorio, very po-faced as it were. But there are jokey things in Satisfactory, not in the building mechanics. That is entirely dead serious. But yeah, there's it has one of the things I would say about Satisfactory, it has it has a story, as it were. There's an actual story to the game, as it were. What that is, nobody knows, because that's not been that's not come into it yet. But it's bound to be something silly / ironic, something like that. So if it's just not your cup of tea humor-wise, that may be a bit too much for you. But I say it's virtually not there at the moment. It's just a sort of when it becomes the final game, it will be, and that may not be your thing. But the thing I say that sort of so why that also matters is Satisfactory is more. I think I would say the real difference with it. This game inherently is pretty. Dyson Sphere, they've nailed it. It's good looking. You don't really have to do anything to make an attractive looking factory. Factorio is like the exact opposite. It's deliberately, diesel punk, gritty, horrible, messy, oil spilling on the ground type thing. Satisfactory is not automatically pretty and very easy to make an ugly factory, but it gives you a lot of tools to make an attractive factory. And if that's not your cup of tea, then again, it may not be the game for you. And I don't mean, it's not about making, a pretty city, but, if you're not into making a factory that looks like a factory aesthetically, then, because I was kind of looking for that, and the thing that threw me was that a lot of that element of the game is hidden away. Basically, you have to actually sort of unlock it. Not with microtransactions or any rubbish like that, but you actually have to find the things to be able to make attractive looking factories. And I didn't find them for ages. I didn't know where they were. And so I was starting to get really quite bored with it. But then I did, and it sort of clicked with me. The thing I would also say, it's really good for multiplayer, which is probably why your friend's trying to get you to play it. It's you can do a lot of messing about in the game. I say it's that I say not the same humor as Goat Simulator, but that more that philosophy of giving people the tools to do silly things, or fun things, or novel things, or weird things, or whatever. It does. It has a similar idea. You know, like, so these belts are just floating in the air. There's nothing supporting the belts. And you can easily build a floating belt where you just build, you know, you just deconstruct. So if we just go up a level, you know, like that. And then I can just deconstruct the back end of it. And suddenly you've got a magic floating belt. And it uses that sort of system. And basically, if that, if you then think to yourself, well, why can't, even though it doesn't matter, you know, and it's floating, why can't I build a support to make it look like it's a supported belt? And that's the type of thing if Satisfactory is really good at. It lets you build, you know, you could build a supporting understructure to make that look like an industrial belt in, you know, going across the top of your factory. But you don't need to. It doesn't matter that it's floating. You know, generate power and then I use extended towers, but I like how you use windmills locally for everything. You never run lower on power. Yeah, I mean, that was just an error. Basically, all I did, all I forgot to do.
You have the ability to sail. Double-click the space key to lift off to enter the flight mode, and keep pressing the forward direction and space keys in the flight mode, and you will enter the sailing mode when you reach a certain altitude.
So that's what I was saying about the English is not the greatest, but those milestones have clearly been written by someone who has a, shall we say, better grasp. All I forgot to do was put in that, basically. So I do have an area, you know, burning coal, basically. I mean, it's not, it's burning the graphene, but, you know, so I had power. I'd just forgotten to hook everything up, basically. So all of those were just running on this here. Because I always put in these, partly to help me, try to help me navigate around the globe, to segment it. You know, I'm not a fan of the solar belt because to me, it like, I mean, it is a good way of generating quite a lot of power, but if you're basically blocking off like a chunk of your land. At least this way, I can weave a belt between the turbines. If it's a block of solar panels, you know, you've kind of got to go over it with belts and make your life a lot harder. And this works perfectly well, I think. But yeah, all I'd done is I'd forgotten to put that to connect them all together. So they're all, I effectively had like 4 independent networks, basically. I just think the first-person view is overwhelming for me. Everything would be so big and so far away. Like third-person view DSP, everything seems right. Yeah, that is yeah. I mean, if you feel that way, that is a problem because I get the same thing. I'm a bit when I play it, I'm trying. It's like I think it'd work really well in virtual reality because. You know, and obviously would limit its audience, and a lot of people don't like it and stuff. But you know, having the actual things there in front of you would be really good in virtual reality. But when you play it on a small screen, I mean, I end up doing this, you know, and trying to look round corners and stuff because you know it feels too close, and you know, it's like I can't get a proper perspective on it, and I'm trying to look round to see is it connecting and that sort of thing. One thing it does have is, and you have to do very quickly, is its version of sort of factory floors. So when you lay down a factory floor, it has an automatic grid, and everything clips to that grid. And that makes things so much easier because you can just say, right, and it shows you like lines to line things up. Bit unreliable, but it shows you the lines. So for example, this... Because this is a grid as well, obviously. It's building on a grid. You can go off grid, but it's the same sort of idea. Once you put down the floor, so it creates a grid system for you, and it makes it so much easier. Right, so we now have the ability to fly to our nearest star, but I probably don't have enough. Oh, I haven't got any option. Okay. I thought I could do one more capacity, but I clearly cannot. Oh. Oh, thank you for the follow. I have to get back. Oh, great dear. Thanks for talking. Yeah, no problem. I play this every Monday, except I won't be here next Monday because I'm going to an event called EGX, which is like a gaming show, basically. So I won't be here next Monday playing this, but the following Monday I will be. Same sort of time, 5 till 7, basically. I stream this. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I really enjoy chatting with people who want to, but equally, if you just want to watch, I'm totally happy with that as well. I just like to play the games on stream, basically. It's very much appreciated for the follow, but so you don't feel any obligations or anything. Right, so what I need to do is get to this other planet and start doing stuff over there. Now, is there anything I need? I should really do some of these, not these, to extend the veins a bit. Because I don't want to... Some of the patches are quite small on this planet, so logistics I can't do, can I? No, I can't do any of them. Okay, I guess I could do that, but yeah, and that's purple, isn't it? So I'll do one of these just to help extend some of these smaller patches. But then I need to do some proper text because I need to make progress towards this. But we need yellow. Is it crystal smelting? There we go. So that's what I need to get the old diamonds. And then that one. Yeah. And then should just be able to do that one. I don't have any other preconditions, do I? So that'll set us up for... I should do this as well, really. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. And it would actually be useful to have them if I'm going to be flying. No, we'll give it a go. We'll chance our arm. But I will set that going, but that'll be a while before we get that, I think. Okay, so I say we need to stock up with what we need to make a little factory making titanium on our nearest... Oh, where's my stuff? On our nearest... That's the oil. Nearest neighbour. Or second nearest neighbour, actually. Now, what I usually do... I've just flown straight past it, haven't I? Here we go. What I usually do is have a little chest somewhere that I can just throw things in rather than be too finicky about sorting stuff out. Now, I did make some big chests, didn't I? Yes, I did. Here we go. Perfect. Let's grab a load of them. So, we can have a little chest here. And I can just chuck in everything that I'm not going to take with me. So, I don't really want the raw stuff because it's kind of a waste of inventory space. Yeah, let's leave all of that there. I'll take them. I've been keeping these. I got these from the very beginning, so I've just been, holding on to those as a sort of an emergency thing if I run out. But we'll go and get some more carbon. We don't really want that. So belts we want loads of. We want inserters. Might as well take the splitters. I'm not going to take them. We'll use the big ones. Fluids is irrelevant for the next planet. We want them. What I could do, actually, is rather than... Yeah, I better take... What are they made from? Aren't they... Those are those things, so... Oh, I haven't even got any. Oh, but we're not going to need them. We do want solar panels, turbines. Yeah, why have I not got any of them? I guess I might turn them all... Into chemical labs? No, I didn't make any chemical labs. Oh. Why have you not put stuff in that chest? Oh! I didn't connect that up at all. In fact, all of these are unconnected. That was an error. Right, so you need glass, don't you? Like that. You need them. You need... So it made me some because I had some already in another chest, so it's just used them, basically. That was an error. But I bet it's... Oh, that's full, so it shouldn't... Yeah, it should just fill that up and then it'll make some. Okay. Phase visualization. Cool. Let's just pinch some of them. Because I'm just going to hand make a few of those. Basically. Oh. Because we'll need a few, but not too many. Right, so that was a bit of an error. Right, so chemical labs we don't need. We could top that off. Then we don't need. It's mostly the things over here, I think, is it? We'll have a full stack of that. Full stack of... In fact, let's take many of them as we can. Take as many of them as we can. And these. Yeah, we're leaving that. And then we want like loads of these things. If I just do them as round stacks, I think. Basically all the belts, I think. All of them. So we could just chuck them in a chest over on the other planet for when we need them. So it's not a problem. Just to have them. Now let's think. I'm gonna mine some titanium. I'm then going to smelt some titanium. I'm then going to stick it in a chest. I'm going to have power of varying types. So I need some solar panels, which are over here. So that gives me solar panels. That gives me wind turbines. That gives me thermal plants. I'm going to need to put things into machines and take things out. I'm going to need to put things on belts. Going to need to connect things up with power. Going to need to possibly make other things. Yeah, okay. I'm happy we've got what we need. So we can go and grab a load of carbon as well so that we don't run out of fuel. Where are my power producers? Over here, right. I get a bit paranoid with the old travelling between planets at this stage, because you can quite easily burn through your entire, you know, power supply, and then while you're not sort of stranded, because you're effectively floating, free falling in a sense. Let's go over here, make sure we're fully zapped up. You can just sort of drift past planets because you've run out of power to control yourself, basically. Right, so this is all full. I've got loads of them. Okay, right, now, what we need to do, and this was a good thing they added, I like this. So we need to go up to this view. We need to put a little pin on that. No. It's that one, isn't it? There we go. So that tells me roughly where I'm heading. Oh, not T. M. There we go. There we go. So we're going up to there. Okay, so I forgot how to do this. You sort of just hold.
In sailing mode,
there we go.
You can control the mecha, go to different planets or planetary systems by following the arrows in the space navigation. Hold down the shift key to accelerate. Back arrow key to slow down. You can also use the Q/R keys to hold down the right mouse button, dragging to sideward flight.
Yeah. What he said. Yeah, so we want to, I usually sort of accelerate to about sort of half, half battery basically. We'll end up with a battery that's enormous and no problem. But I usually sort of accelerate to half battery so that I can then use sort of WAS controls to tweak the orientation without running out of juice. Because so you can, it's cool. It's kind of cool that they have a lot of the mechanics in it, but you can basically bounce off the atmosphere and stuff. Right. I do like the music. It's of the school of playing continuously, which is came great on my nerves after a while. But yeah, it's good. It's good music, but or appropriate music. And I do like that it changes depending on what you're doing. You can't tell I'm filling while we wait to land. It's usually easiest to try and crash into the planets, basically. If you've never done this, you just head straight for them and slam into the planet, basically. But we can also try and slow down. But slowing down... Oh. Is it not? There we go. It does use power. There we go. Why am I not heading towards the planet? I seem to have quite a lot of momentum for some reason. In the wrong direction. Oh, I bet I'm chasing it, am I? I bet I'm chasing the planet, basically. So it's drifting away from me. Right, let's see if we can compensate for that a bit. There we go. Slam head first into your planet. There you go. Beauty. This is a bit of a... Oh! Universe exploration. You crossed a distance of 1.419 AU, astronomical units. Landed on the planet Zunban Elgenubi 1 and took the first step towards the exploration of the universe. The vastness of space and interstellar journey. Everything is wonderful. Everything is wonderful. This is a bit of a barren rock, isn't it? Yeah, this is a real, excuse me, barren lump. Right, so we're looking for titanium. We have two, no we don't, that's stone. Titanium there. And we have, is that it? Wow. That's almost completely empty. Is that it? Just the one titanium vein? Okay. The other planet has much more titanium on it. It must be, because that's got 1.5 in it, and this entire planet has got 1.5. Okay. Well, it's not a problem. We just, you know, it's usually a couple of patches, but there you go. So yeah, what we can do basically is set up some... Oh, crystal smelting, lovely jubbly. We can set up some local production for, like, you know, the basic materials. So that's why I tend not to bother bringing stuff with me, because we can make, you know, this planet has got... No, I've done the wrong key again. Iron and copper on it. So we can just make, you know, circuits and all that stuff locally. We don't need to ferry them back and forth. Right, so... What's the... Where's the wind thingy? No. Orbital resonance 1 to 2. Okay. Construction area. Wind energy ratio 110. Solar energy ratio 135. Lovely. So it's going to be good to produce both types of power. Now that I have... Well, now that they've put... in fact, let's grab a thingy. Here we go. So let's see if we can find a meridian. Meridian. That must be one there, is it? Yeah, that's one there. So if we do a lovely big drag that way, and a lovely big drag that way. Oh, this is so much easier. It was so tedious putting these on before. Right, so let's let the bots do their thing. Like that. Doopy-doopy-doo. It's going to be amazing when I've got loads of bots and stuff. Loads of high-speed bots as well. It's a bit of a dizzying perspective, isn't it? Crikey. Right, let's take it up to about there-ish. And this time I'm not going to forget one of them. Boop. We might as well put some solar panels since I've got them up here. Usually just sort of cap the planet off with a few solars. So we should be able to drag. No? Is it tab to space them out? There we go. There we go. Isn't there a way of getting it to do the full circle? No, discard item, just interval. Oh, if there is, I don't know what it is. Okay, like that. Next row, I guess. So if is it... What's the difference between expand interval and narrow interval then? Not sure I understand that subtlety. Oh, is that not... What have I done there? Huh. Let's get rid of that then. Right, let's have another go at that. So, round to there. No. Collide with other objects. Tab. Tab. One more. There we go. Something like that. Cool. Okay. Somewhat like that. Okay. So probably, I mean, I only stream till 7 o'clock usually, British summertime. So we'll probably set this planet up with a bit of a, you know, turbine and... Have I left my bots behind? I bet I have, haven't I? Turbine and solar panel situation round the planet as best we can to get us that first little bit of power. If there's any time then I'll go and find the coal patch and put some coal burning on that. Well, you know, turn it to energetic, whatever it calls it, carbon. Now how far up? Was it there? No, it feels like I did one more. So what have you... Oh, I can't tell. Oh. So I think there's one more. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, and then pop one of them on. And then we'll chuck some of these on. Whee. Tab, tab, like that. And then like that. That'll do. Let's go and find our next meridian. There we go. Yeah, first time I did this, I was like manually working out the distance each time because it's like 9 tiles or something like that. So I was like trying to count them. But with this, it's just so much easier. But yeah, next stream we'll be actually building a bit of titanium processing. And then I'll ferry a few loads of titanium back and forth. Because you have to do it by hand to start with, basically. It's quite good practice, though, for actually doing longer journeys to other planets, which I presume is kind of why they've done it, but because I can't imagine giving people the job manually carrying stuff, you know, across half a solar system is was their ultimate goal. How many of these have we actually got? Not enough to do all of it, but that's fine. Got 16 left. How many is that? 8 left, okay. Because there are some ghost ones up there, so I don't want to forget about them. Pop these in. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'd be all the ones I brought with us. Cool. Right, let's go and find this mini coal patch. Here we go. So it's over here. Where's that? That's that way. Gonna run out of juice in a minute. Where is it? Have I gone the wrong way? No. Yes, I have. Okay. So it's down this way. Down this way. Isn't it? Where's it gone? I've not looked at a stone patch and thought it was coal, have I? No, it's over here. How am I over here? This way. Here we go. There's the coal. Now juice. Have I got? Yeah, okay. Top that up. Oh, I left some there. Okay. Right, fine. Okay, so what we want to do is find ourselves a nice connection point or two. It's sort of... Oh! I didn't think I had any left, did I? I've got 2 left. Maybe it counts them as not being in your inventory then? That's interesting. Okay. Because I've still got 1 left, basically. 2 left. Huh. Okay. Anyway. So I want to get a bit of power connection over here. Also give me somewhere to charge up a little bit quicker. Is there another green one somewhere then? Maybe I've just done maths wrong. Right, so, yes, coal patch. As I said before, I'm not massively fussed about doing, you know, enormous amounts of miners. But it'd be worth putting a few on. Let's wait. Oh, you're not off. What? Oh, I put the wrong one in. That's a Tesla tower. What a plonker. One of them. What an idiot. Right. Yes, so. I haven't obviously got... Well, I got 2. Yeah, might as well. Not going to do anything else with them. But we can then put one of these on. Like that. Cool. Okay. So what I want to do, if that's north, then really we want to be building out that way, don't we? Have we got room that way? Yeah, tons of room. Okay. It's all charged up. So I'll do my thing again about essentially using splitters as balancers. Just the regular one's fine. I'm going to have one there. One there. Like that. Dun 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 dun. Like that. Like that. I can take these. Oh, I should have put this in first. It's a point actually. I've only actually got 3. 3 of them. It should be right for the time being. High strength crystal. Excelente. Oh. Huh. I didn't know they'd done diagonals. Huh. I had no idea they put diagonals in. Well, there you go. Right. I need to disconnect that though because it's going to do my head in. But, okay, so what we would then want to do, it's probably not actually going to... Because I would want to upgrade the belt, but it's only a tiny patch of coal anyway. But what we want, basically, is some smelters. So leave a little bit of space here. Let's leave, say, that much. In fact, yeah, let's put it on that side. So these would convert coal to graphite. And then we want to put them all out on a belt here. And take that way. That's too far. I don't know why I randomly clicked that far up. And then we want the same on this side. And this needs to connect. That one there. That one there. That one there. That one there. Awesome. Right, let's copy that down. Can't remember how many it is. It's only like 3 machines or something, isn't it, to fill up? So you get one every 2 seconds. So it's half of one. So they're effectively 1 a second, and we only got 6, so we need 12 machines. Isn't it 5 you can get in with a Tesla tower? In fact, there's probably room for a Tesla tower there anyway. No, there isn't. Okay. Okay. But there's that. Yeah, it's like 5 or something. Let's get rid of them. But we'll do 3, because that's a little bit prettier. And then copy that again. Like that. Like that. Copy you. But we need to tap. Tap. No. Oh no. No, I don't know what it's done there. Oh, that's right. No, it isn't. Last one's wrong. I guess it must be 4, and that's what it's gone for. Okay, let's just do 3 then. I guess it must be 4 for the Tesla tower gap, but, you know, distance. But that's fine. That'll do us. Right, so we then want to take this back this way. I might as well leave a gap just in case I want to do anything silly, but we then want to take that way. I then want to bunch of these in. Excuse me. In fact, let's just do one there. Does this also? If I drag, oops, no, drag that way. Oh, it does. I think. They think of everything, these developers. Can I do a big? No, only let me do it that way. Okay. I think that's too many, isn't it? I don't think it will actually. Oh. I don't think it actually support that, but. Cool. So, we have a little bit of power from everything. Could probably do a bit more solar. Since we haven't got that many turbines. But you see, what we can do is set up a little, you know, minimal making turbines and solar stuff. Because now we've got direct access to silicon, this is a great place to make solar panels. And if I did want to do the whole, you know, solar belt, it would now be a bit more practical, I think. But I tend to, because we've got entire, like, you know, half a planet, so we could just set up a great big solar field, basically. And obviously, you do have that point that, well, it's not getting power continuously and whatever, blah blah blah, but it doesn't actually make a lot of difference because you can get batteries. Basically, this game's equivalent of accumulators on the go to store it up while it's in the dark. Right. Yeah. So it's basically 7 o'clock. So that's when I stream to. So it's sort of perfect timing from that point of view. What we can do, though, is just fly over to the titanium vein. I am titanium. So, yeah, so I say this is the end of the stream, basically. Next time when we pick up, we will actually smelt some titanium. I'll get this all done, get this all sorted. I say it appears that this is the only patch of titanium on this planet, so it's not a lot, but we can get all of this mined up, and basically the idea is we'll stick it in a chest essentially. So you just smelt it like normal, you know, like iron and copper basically. There's nothing special to it, although I think it's a bit of a slower recipe from memory. But we'll get that on the go. We'll probably do a couple of lanes of titanium out, and you know, then basically just stick it in a big chest, like, or several in fact, because we should be able to stack them quite high now. So it'll just chunk away, filling them up with titanium, and then essentially I'm going to dump all this, probably a chest. What I normally do is a chest at the North Pole, because then I know where it is basically, and I'll probably put down a bit of a charging area as well. And then the idea would be to fly back and forth a couple of times, take the titanium over to our home planet, where we can then make some of these. In fact, I'm researching it right now. Structure matrices, and we basically need enough, and we will have to do that one. But you need to do thruster first, you see. So that's only red and blue, though. Where is thruster? Thruster. There it is. So we're going to have to do that as well, sort of thing. And we'll also, I mean, we should really do that, but that's, you know, we want the thing first. And then basically we're on the home straight. We need 80 of them and 120. So we need 200 yellow structure, you know, yellow ones. And yellow science is 1 and 1 of the graphite diamonds and these, whatever it calls it, high strength crystals. High strength crystals are made from 3 titanium. So basically, to make the 200 of these we need 600 of titanium. I think it also stacks to 100, is it? Might be 200, like iron and stuff. So in theory, to unlock interplanetary logistics system, we need, you know, about 200 titaniums. And once we've got that, we will then have to do that, but that's only red science. This gives us the logistic vessels, but that uses the high strength titanium alloys. So we're going to need a whole bunch of titanium to do them in order to set up the system, and that uses reinforced titanium as well, doesn't it? Yeah. So I mean, we also need the plasma things, don't we? Which I'm not sure where those are. They might need yellow science as well. Aren't they up here somewhere? Where are they? I'm not sure where those are. But yeah, I think we do need some more than just the 200 sort of thing. But it's literally like, I think it's like 5 trips of a full inventory will kind of do us from memory. And then I can get the actual automated system up and running to, you know, to bring it over. And we don't have to bother manually bringing it over anymore. Where are they? Isn't it up here somewhere? No. Where are you? Unless I've already got them, but I don't think I have. Mini fusion. Not sure where those are. Oh, no. There? No. Anyway, wherever they are. So yeah, so that's the stream for today. Thank you very much for anyone who's joined me and chatted along or just watched. It's all very much appreciated. I'm Trismegistus. I stream Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Friday is Satisfactory, Saturday and Sunday is Factorio, and today is Dyson Sphere Program. Main aim of this series is for me to get to learn blueprints. I've not done a lot of blueprinting yet, but that's because I don't think I've had anything worth blueprinting. Satisfactory, I was trying to play through Update 4 before Update 5 hit. That's now not going to happen because that's due in a couple of weeks. But that's just going to roll on into Update 5. I don't think that's the last update, but maybe it will be. And then Factorio, I'm building a mega base, basically. So I have a base. I've never done a mega base before. I've done pretty much everything else, but never a mega base. And I'm just finishing off the whole space science thing. So literally a couple of weeks or a couple of months maybe, I'm going to have a 5,000 plus science per minute megabase up and running in Factorio. Yeah, so if you have joined me today, thanks for watching, and maybe you'll consider coming back for another one. You can also find me. Oh, that's a rubbish position for the at Trismegistus, basically. Let's see if I can. Is that better? No, that's not any better. At Trismegistus, I'm over on YouTube, and you can watch the VODs of this series and my other series as well. Yes, so if you have been watching, thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll catch you in another one. Cheers.